All right, let's talk about how to train your nervous system like a pro athlete. See, pro athletes have to train their nervous system, especially when there's all this pressure on them to be able to perform at high levels, right? And there's all these people that are watching all around the world. There's pressure. So let's paint a real picture here of what pressure looks like in our ordinary world, right? We wake up already anxious a lot of times. We already have our inbox already, blowing up. There's all these emails, our teams are behind, our customers are mad, our kids are crying. Our phone won't freaking stop going off, right? And then somebody throws in a little comment that's just like halfway in there, right? And all you want to do is just freaking explode or just get somebody or just freaking disappearing and just get out of there, right? And yet you still have to show up. You still have to lead. You still have to close deals. You still have to answer those phones. You still have to, help and be professional, right? So it's not easy. And it takes high performers with maturity, with emotional intelligence to be able to do it high levels for a long period of time. Because look, here's the truth. Most of us were never taught how to manage a stress or those high pressured, situations, but specifically how to deal with your nervous system. How to deal with your nervous system. Were you ever taught? If you guys were taught how to deal with your nervous system growing up, put that into the comments because most people weren't, right? I know I wasn't. We were taught how to react, right? How to just, power through and be tough and, don't cry about it, just numb it out. That's how I learned, right? But in high pressured environments like sales, leadership, customer service, right? All these things, it becomes a part of what we're doing there. And actually over 70% of the workplace underperformance is due to nervous system being out of order. It's not lack of skill, it's nervous system that's not regulated. It's dysregulated. So like, if you're snapping, shutting down, overthinking, procrastinating, just kind of checking out, glazing over, that's not your mindset. It's your nervous system that's it's glitching. Your nervous system is glitching, right? And when there's pressure, your nervous system can do that. It's that fight or flight system thing. So we have to train our bodies, we have to train our brains to be able to stay in control under the pressure, just like the pro athletes. They have to train their bodies, their minds to stay in control under all the lights, cameras, and actions, and chaos, and noise, and people saying, you suck, boo, all these different things going on. So they have to do it, so why shouldn't you? So this training is going to go into that, and it's not going to just be about breathing, because breathing is very powerful, don't get me wrong. Because breathing helps you to rewire your nervous system. So yes, but it's not going to just only be some breathe in peace routine, okay? I'm going to show you how to rewire your nervous system in real time, under 2 minutes. That way you can stop going down this deep, dark circle, right? And that way you can show up like a leader. That way you can show up like a leader even when there is chaos and problems going around everywhere. Everybody else is freaking out, and nope. You are standing strong, clear, and ready to dominate. So I'm going to give you a system right now on how to do that. And this is we'll call it the pro reset formula, and how to reset. Who knows, we have to learn how to reset quickly. Go put that into the comments, but reset. We have to be able to reset. So this is the reset formula. I'm going to give you 3 different steps on how to get control of your nervous system, literally, and control it under the pressure. So this system is going to train you how to recognize your triggers, how to regulate your physical response, because your physical response, that's the reaction, right? We want to stop that. And then how to not just stop the reaction, but how to enter into your power with presence, with purpose, with intention. And you're not going to need a yoga mat. So don't worry. I'm going to teach you how to do it and how to do it under fire. All right, so step 1 is first you need to recognize the pattern. If you can't see it, you can't control it. If you're not aware of it, you can't change it. If you can't catch it, you can't control it, right? So you first have to be aware of it. Your nervous system doesn't wait for permission. Be like, hey, Richard, do you mind if no. When we perceive a threat, a disrespectful tone, a look, an attitude, rejection, a delay, anything. Those things trigger. It triggers a primal response in you, a fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, right? Like it creates all these different things in us. It triggers, it pushes buttons. That's what it does. So you need to build a skill of this awareness, this micro awareness recognition thing where you're able to see and feel and recognize when it's starting. And it usually starts in physical places. And if we're aware, these micro recognitions, we can stop it before it blows up. For an example, our body starts with like these body signals of your jaw begins to get tense. Your shallow breathing, your chest begins to get tight. You get clenched fist, right? And you're kind of get like your blinking even starts to get rapid. Like you start getting like it creates, like you can feel these things, and if you pay attention to those micro responses in your physical body, you can start to prevent it, right? So first start with your body signals. Be aware. Then listen for those mind loops, the blame, the defense, the shutdown, the panic, the fear. So it's a physical response, and then get to, okay, what am I thinking about? Start to ask yourself, what am I about to do right now, and am I going to regret it in 5 minutes? Kind of recheck, reset. What I am about to do right now, am I going to regret this in 5 minutes? Gets a little reset, right? So if you can do this, if you can set, 3 15 second alarms a day, quick, right? And for an example, because I used to do this with certain words on my calendar, and I would put reminders or an alarm, and it kind of got annoying at some times, but it really did work because it would go off at random times and I would forget, right? So I can be in a meeting and it just goes off and I'm like, man, why is this alarm off? And I go and it says the words right there. So even if you set an alarm and title it Scan and Name It. Scan and name it. So when it goes off, it says scan and name it on the reminder on the alarm, okay? And this is when you pause, scan your body, name what you feel, and then you start to build the recognition muscle right there. That's how you build it. See, when you do that, this begins to rewire your brain to detect the emotion and to be able to hijack it, to be able to reset it before it takes over, right? So, but you have to be aware of it. Again, you can't change anything you're not aware of. So just know that you have to have this recognition. You have to recognize the pattern. You have to catch it before you control it. So first it starts in the body, right? Starts with the body signals. And then you start to interrupt that. It shows you like, hey, you're about to react. Start to see what you're thinking about, right? Scan it, name it. Now we can go to step 2. Okay, now we are aware of it. So what do we need to do? We need to regulate it. We need to not just regulate it like, oh, okay. We need to regulate it with almost like aggressiveness. You have to be intense in this regulating. You can't just be like, oh yeah, I'm feeling a little bit mad here. Then you're going to start to give yourself right and reason to feel mad. Like, well, he did do this, or they didn't finish this. Well, I should be mad. And you start to build it up, right? So you have to first be aware of it. Then you need to regulate it, and you have to be very intense about it. Otherwise, it takes over. So look, if you don't calm it down by being aggressive, it's not aggressive towards the person or the issue, right? It's about you getting aggressive and getting in control over your emotions. Because look, you don't calm down by doing nothing. You're not going to calm down by just waiting and doing nothing. You calm down by shifting power. So deep breathing is nice, but under real pressure, you need active regulation. So think about it think of this nervous system CPR. You know how you're waking up the heart, you're getting the heart to beat again? What I'm going to share with you right now is it's doing this for your nervous system. It's waking up, it's bringing alive your nervous system, getting control over it, right? Getting a rhythm there. So here's the technique. It's pressure breathe with posture break. Pressure breathing with posture break. Okay, so it's a pressure breath. Watch. So inhale through your nose for 5 seconds. Then you exhale through tight lips. There's pressure, okay? For 7 seconds, like you're blowing through, you know those little tiny straws, those coffee straws are really, really small, and it's like, it's really, really small, right? And you can feel it's hard to blow through, but you can. I want you to feel that when you're doing the pressure breath. Okay, so you go in 5 seconds, go, right? And then go out 7 seconds with a little hole. These are fast seconds, but you get the point, right? So when you do this, you're gonna feel the back of your throat tighten, right? It stimulates it's a nerve here, and it signals to your brain, hey, relax. Like it's gonna signal to your brain to get emotional regulation. When you go, I think it's called a vagus nerve. I did some study on this, okay? So this was a while back. I don't remember what the nerve is called. I think it's called vagus or vagus. It's a nerve that's in the back of your throat, and it begins to signal to your brain to begin to relax. And if you do this for 4 times, 4 rounds, I'm telling you, that pressure breathing, it starts to regulate and get your nervous system to begin to calm down. Okay, let's do it one more time, then I'll show you about the posture break. So first, the pressure breath, okay? So in 5 seconds through your nose, ready? Out 7 seconds through a small little hole, ready? Right? You should feel it all right here. You do that 4 times. Now let's talk about the posture break. So now, you know, remember, it's your physical body that feels it first, okay? So you stand up, you press your palms together for 10 seconds, kind of like a prayer. 10 seconds, press them together. 4, 5, come on, do it with me. 7, 8, 9, 10. Now shake out your arms. Roll your shoulders back. Right? Come on. This sends a message, I am in control. It does this. Okay, when you start to do this, when you do this for 10 seconds, right? Shake them out, roll your shoulders back. These movements create this psychological like interruption, and it sends a message that I am in control when I start to do this. Let's do it one more time, okay? Hands together. Let's do 10 seconds. Press. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can smile. 7, 8, 9, 10. Shake out your arms. Roll your shoulders back. Raise your chin up, head up, right? Again, this interrupts any kind of negative thing and begins to put you in control. It says, I am in control. So if you begin to practice this in non-crisis moments first, like when there's not a lot of pressure, you just do it, make it a habit after meetings, before calls, in the car. It builds this muscle memory, right? And it helps you to be able to use this as an anchor, as a trigger when you need it. And I'm telling you, it rewires your brain. It's a psychological interrupt that is very powerful just by doing this, okay? So make sure you guys use that. Here's the third thing that you need to do here. Now you need to reclaim the frame. This is that thinking, the stinking thinking. If you don't reframe the moment, the nervous system is going to drag you right back into your old patterns of how you used to do things. So once you've interrupted the pattern, your job is now to lead yourself and be intentional as you're moving out of it. This means shifting from being reactive to being very intentional. So how do you get very intentional? You need to ask your brain, you need to prompt your brain to go a certain direction. So you start to ask specific questions. This is how you prompt yourself. Ask, what outcome do I need right now? What outcome do I need to create right now in this situation? What do I need to create? What's the outcome that I want? What outcome do I need to create right now? It's a little reset. It's a little trigger that'll get you focused, right? Here's another one. What version of me needs to show up in this room? What version of me? Not the triggered one. Not the triggered one. What version of me needs to show up into this room right now? Not the triggered one. Okay? If I were already the leader that I wanted to be, how would I handle this? If I was already a multi-millionaire, how would I handle this? If I was, right, you start to reset yourself with these prompting questions, and then it shifts your posture again, right? Slow your speech, right? Use power of silence, take a deep breath, let others talk, and then you begin to own the room by first owning your own presence, your own energy. Starts there. So instead of snapping, you start to think, okay, I need a moment to respond to that. Give me a second. And take a deep breath. Instead of snapping, right? Instead of avoiding, same thing. Like, okay, let's get real about what just happened, right? And how I am seeing it. Don't avoid it, go after it. Instead of snapping, say, okay, let me say it for what it is. Let me have a moment to respond to that. Give me a second. Take a deep breath, do your thing, get in control. See, reframing is how you teach your brain that intensity, that stress, that pressure doesn't mean danger. Because your brain starts to see it as danger and it gets into fight or flight in reaction mode, right? No, you have to train it through the reframing of what we're talking about right now. When you start to do that over and over and over, you do these things, you ask yourself these questions, in pressure, out of pressure, you start to build this muscle to learn how to reframe your brain in hard times, right? Because reframing is how you teach your brain that intensity is not bad, stress is not bad. You have to train it though. It means redirection. So look, this is the difference between high-level performers and those who do just enough, like the average people who make average money and those who are like at the top, the amateurs versus the pros. Amateurs think emotional control is, okay, I'm just gonna try hard. I'm gonna bite my lip. I'm gonna bite my tongue. It's like willpower. That's low level. Pros, the best in the world, the best in the industries, they're the ones who train. It's a trained system, right? So, like it's a protocol, it's a system, it's an SOP that helps you to get out of the chaos, the stress in a couple of seconds, a couple minutes. It's a protocol, it's a standard operating procedure. When stress comes, when a problem comes, I know that I have a procedure, I have a protocol to check my body, check my loop, right? My thinking, my posture, right? I'm able to look at my body to see what is triggering me, right? Like if your kids are saying something that stings, if your client cancels on you, when your coworker, throws a little jab or gives you a little attitude, when your body goes into panic, defend, escape, or explode, this is when you recognize that. You can recognize it in your body. You recognize that spike of energy in your body, that tensity in your jaw, you clenching, right? Like then you start to regulate on purpose with intention and intensity, right? Because you can't just be intentional and be like, well, okay, I'll change it later. You have to interrupt it with intensity. So regulate through intensity, reclaim that freaking moment, reset it. And this is how you start to earn respect. This is how you start to earn leadership, not with titles, but with emotional presence, with emotional command, with emotional domination, not being reactive to what people are doing or not doing or what other people are doing or not. Like all that is not going to determine how you're going to show up and how your day is going to go. You're no longer the person that reacts and then regrets. Oof. Right? You're now the person who trains, who does things on purpose, with purpose. And this system is going to help you to do that. It's not going to make you emotionless because we're emotional people. Emotions are good. But do you have the emotions or the emotions have you, right? When you regulate it, this makes you powerful. Because power is not about you being loud or forceful or making people. Power is about the ability to stay grounded, to stay focused, to stay clear when everybody else is freaking out. When they're spinning out, when they're like, oh, what do we do? And they're blaming and complaining and no, like this is where you shine. This is where you make your team follow you. This is where your client begins to trust you more than ever. Like that's what makes you unstoppable in these times, but you got to show up. So what's your challenge here? Okay, so this is what I want you to do. This is the pro reset formula, right? The reset formula. One, that do a mid-morning when something like irritates you, do something. what we're talking about. Like, do the breathing, do the pressing, like do these things mid-morning, right? When something irritates you, do it. After your next meeting or your big meeting before a call, do these things before and do it after. Start to train. Start to make this a part of your system. Or right before you walk into your house, when you go home at the end of the day, start to wind down. Train your nervous system like your future freaking depends on it, because the truth is it does. It does. Every time you choose presence over panic and stress, you're going to become the leader that everybody around you is looking for, whether it's at work or at home. So you're not just here just to survive the pressure, guys. It's not just survival mode. You're like, oh, I got through another week. It's almost a weekend. No, come on. You're here to command it. You're here to dominate it. You are built for this.